Hello, everybody. Sorry about the issue. Hello, carry me through. Hello, English or Spanish M4E. Let me get set up. I haven't seen him yet. Okay, I'll call you English. Nice. Not a fan of the game, but to each their own. We're gonna... Why is that so wide? Oh, that's right. It was your birthday. I forgot about that. Hi, Zoomy N1. Happy birthday. We're going to get started here in just a second. There it goes. Okay. Now let me get in camera so you guys can see me. Oh my goodness, what a day. First off, let me start tonight's live in a way that I don't like doing. The eastern section of the United States, probably tomorrow, is going to be hit by a big blizzard. If you don't know what a blizzard is, it's a really bad snowstorm. They are talking power outages, up to 2 feet of snow, possible maybe more. Be safe when you can. Let me know how you're doing. I don't expect you to message me or to be online doing stuff. Save your batteries because I understand. But be safe. That's number one. Be safe. I know they're telling people to stay off the roads. Do that. Be safe. Yeah, I heard about that. But I can't do anything about that. As long as I'm trying to do my best to tell people to listen to what they're saying. I sound like a nice person. I try. Okay, that being said, Tonight's live. I am Nature Guy X46, and this is the Natureverse 4.7, and today we are going to be talking about two different exhibits, the Congo Gorilla Forest at the Bronx Zoo and the Pongoland at Zoo Leipzig. So, the Congo Gorilla Forest occupies 6.5 acres. You will walk a third of a mile as you take in this immersive exhibit. I've never been there. Oops, I forgot to turn on my light. Whoo! This exhibit is home to 400 species of plants, 55 species of animal. This exhibit is home to 20 to 23 western lowland gorillas. It is one of the largest breeding groups in the United States. There are 26 indoor animal exhibits, 17 small aquariums, and terrariums. The exhibit is home to 400 animals. And we're going to dig a little bit deeper. Now, I mentioned that there are 400 species of plants in this exhibit, but zoo staff planted 14,000 plants into this exhibit. It is a multi-award winning exhibit. When you enter this exhibit with their major exhibits at the Bronx Zoo, you have to pay $7 extra and $7 for everybody in your party. This is one of those exhibits. The first animal that you're going to see is the Angolan colobus monkeys. And from their exhibit, you will pass through a fake tree that looks like it's a part of Mother Nature. It's a hollowed out tree, a fake tree. Hi, Atari Organic Garden. It has spots where you can see through it. Oh, here it is not morning. Here it is early evening. The next animal you will meet is the okapi. And I can honestly tell you from what I saw, your mind could be easily tricked into thinking you're in the tropics of Africa. It looks that well, or that good. From there, you get a glimpse of the mandrills, but a little bit past that, you will enter a building called the Living Treasures of the Congo. It is home to 30 species, of which some are cichlids from Africa, invertebrates of different kinds, a spotted lungfish, pythons, turtles, Nile monitors, African rock pythons, and then you will meet the mandrills and the red river hogs. From there, you enter another indoor exhibit that is home to monkeys, as well as their exhibit is or has a fake strangler fig. If you don't know what a strangler fig is, they actually start growing at the top of a tree, and then they move down. But in the process of moving down, they can strangle the life out of the tree that they start in. This part of the exhibit is also home to African pygmy goose, long-tailed hornbills, and Congo peafowl. The next part of the exhibit is the conservation showcase. There's no animals in this part of the exhibit. It's just educational material talking about the Congo. You will then enter an area where, if you're lucky, you can go in and watch a movie if you want to. After the movie, the screen comes up and you are right there with the gorillas. Well, you're not in the exhibit, but you can see the exhibit. You can then enter an area where you can see the actual gorillas. And with them is a human skull, a gorilla handprint, as well as pygmy marmosets. Now, pygmy marmosets, so there's no confusion, do not come from Africa, but they are one of the smallest primates. So you can see one of the biggest primates and compare them to the much smaller pygmy marmosets. Thank you, Atari. I appreciate that. Thank you for voting. Guys, we have 9 votes and we have 6 likes. Come on now, hit me up. We're going to move right now from the lush, humid world of Central Africa. We now transport ourselves to another incredible primate habitat, one focused on the fascinating great apes of Asia and Africa. Leaving the Congo forest behind, we cross over to the award-winning Pongoland at Zoo Leipzig, which I know I'm not pronouncing that right, where we will explore the lives of orangutans, as well as other African great apes. As always, there is a real disconnect between the United States zoos and the European zoos. There's not a lot of information that I can access. So although I can tell you bits and pieces about this exhibit, I don't get the information. There are individual... thank you, Atari. Thank you, David. David Lapp. Thank you. So let's talk about this exhibit as best we can. So Pongoland is very, very different. Not every zoo in the United States features all of the great apes, but Zoo Leipzig has. They display gorillas, chimpanzees, bonobos, and orangutans. Now, they also display gibbons, and if you don't know, gibbons aren't monkeys. They're actually a lesser ape. The way Pongoland is set up is at the front, there are 2 islands for chimpanzees. Yes, you are late, a little bit, but you're still welcome. You're still welcome, always welcome. Guys, we're still sitting at 6 likes and 10 votes. Please hit that like button, that thumbs up button. That helps me out, and it helps other people find me. Oh. Okay, well, I'm glad you're here, dude. So then there are one island for the gorillas, one island for the bonobos, and one for the orangutans and the gibbons. This exhibit covers 30,000 square meters or 322,917 square feet. This includes the outside exhibits and a building for wintertime. It is home to 185 animals. The orangutans on display are the Sumatrans, and the gibbons are buff-cheeked gibbons. This exhibit opened its doors on April 1st, 2001, and was a part of the zoo's Zoo of the Future master plan. It is wheelchair accessible, and from the few videos that I could see, the opportunities for the animals to climb is incredible. Both for the orangutans and the chimpanzees, and I only imagine that the gorillas and the bonobos have equal opportunities. What's amazing to me is that the chimps, they don't just have ropes and climbing beams, but they also have live trees, which is incredible to me. So, sorry, but that wraps up our discussion on the exhibits. I hope you enjoyed traveling the globe with me today. We're going to switch gears and talk about what's coming up with our upcoming live streams and video releases. Hopefully. Remember, Thursday, March 5th, there will be no live on the second channel. That is when I'm getting my teeth taken out. That'll happen around 10:30-ish. I am just calling myself off for that day. And then Friday at 1 p.m. Normally I have live then. I may not do it. It depends on how I'm feeling at that point. I have updated my lives for next week a little bit. Tuesday, February 24th, we're doing a closer look at bumblebees and carpenter bees. And I'm doing that because if you don't know what you're looking at, it can be really confusing. And then I'm doing blue-winged wasp and cicada killer wasp. February 27th, we're doing a thing on weather, and it's going to be blizzards and hail. And then the 27th, we are going to be doing a deep dive into mythology. It's going to be mythology, but it's going to look at owls. And so we're going to talk about how owls are looked at amongst indigenous cultures from all over the place, from Europe to, old Europe, to America, to maybe South America, to Africa, to Australia, and see how different cultures looked at owls. February 28th, we're going to do a monthly roundup, and we're going to do an experiment later that day. So that is something to look forward to. I believe you're right. nature fan. But we are going to talk about it for sure. Upcoming videos. Some of these are your guys' suggestions. All of these are, in fact. Red-eared slider. I think I'm going to do it as an invasive. For those of you who don't know, red-eared sliders are a turtle that is native to Florida or to the United States and is an invasive species elsewhere. Buckeye trees as a group, mermaids as a cryptid, thank you nature fan, horsehair worms, which is a parasite to invertebrates, mostly insects, Swanee Mexican shell, thank you D-Man, Swanee River as a habitat, thank you carrying me through, and karst, thank you D-Man. We'll be talking about a little bit of geology on that one. No, before you say it, I am not a geologist. So keep that in mind when we do it. Also, for those of you that are new to my channel, I go live Tuesdays, Fridays, and Saturdays at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time and 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. And wow, this one, I could have done 3 different exhibits. I wish I knew how much to prepare for a live. I really do. Because, wow. Okay. If you could visit one of these exhibits, either the Congo Gorilla Forest or Pongoland, which one would you choose and why? I know which one I'd like to go to, but I want to hear from you. And before you ask, I don't know when our next jump into zoos are. Well, both exhibits have gorillas. What I like about the Congo is there's a bunch of different animals. It is super educational. I don't know what the signage is like at Leipzig. I really don't. I wish I did, but I don't. Yeah, I don't know what. Now, let me tell you, again, when you go to Bronx Zoo, you have to pay to get in. And then they have certain exhibits that you have to pay extra to get into. That is one of them. So if you want to see the full exhibit, you have to pay an extra $7. Our next exhibit focus will be March 13th. We're going to be doing the Madagascar forest from the Chester Zoo. And we're going to go back to the Bronx Zoo and we're going to do Madagascar. And then we're going to be doing the Arctic Passage, which I believe is at the Nashville Zoo. I could be wrong on that. And then we're going to do Tundra Trek. And that's March 13th. Some cool things in March. That's one of the cool things. We do have some trivia March 24th. We're going to be doing zoo animals. Any zoo animal. And then we have ethnobotany. We're going to be talking about weird things that plants are used for. that have nothing to do with medicine or food. And then we're going to be talking about spiders and caterpillars who mimic things. And we have a bunch of other stuff in between. So, chat is now open to you to tell me what's going on in your life, me to tell you and answer your questions, and all of that fun stuff. Because I like getting to know my subscribers and the people that are coming into my lives. Ooh, Star Wars books. Some of those can be fun. I have been playing, of course, one of my favorite games. Ooh. Yeah, that's one of my favorite scenes in the movie, is the cantina. I can only imagine all of the different aliens that pass through that place. Like, that could make a really cool sci-fi movie or show. Like they did with Cheers. I don't remember a bat. I had to go to the farewell for a friend. He's not being buried. They're not going to have like graveside services or anything. Really? I did not know that. I thought he was. That was today. That's why I did not do a 1 o'clock. I would like to get suggestions for lives, but I am so bad. By the way, I looked at my schedule, and I think I need 2 more poisonous animals to fit into my week of poisonous creatures. Or I'm going to pick them. And they may not be as fun. Did anybody watch the video on Ebola yet? I know somebody's watched it because it has a like. But it's up and posted. The next video will be the... Oh. Really? That's sad. I love when you can, like, flesh out a character and you learn about him. Sometimes these side characters, they don't get a lot of time to shine. No, because Brazilian wandering spiders are venomous. Okay, you know what would be amazing? If they did a story on Jar Jar Binks, and it made people love him. That's probably not going to happen. I don't even know, because I don't have my stuff on my Chromebook. If I'm doing Brazilian Wandering Spider for Spider Week. Oh. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about Jar Jar. I feel like he was just comic relief, honestly. I don't know if this is an ant or a wasp. But they sting. Um, yeah, but yeah. I could have swore I did a video on them. Everybody else leave? Guys, it's okay to participate in chat if you're not. I don't know if um 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 make you mad. Strangler Fig. Some cool videos if you like plants. I'd like that too. I don't know where people disappear to. If you like plants, we have the history of bay leaf, American skunk cabbage, fingerleaf gourd, a bunch of dinosaur ancient life. We'll be talking about blue-ringed octopuses, another zoonotic disease, vampire bats as a group, the history of plums, oriental bittersweet, Saint's Cactus is coming up. We'll be talking about giant ground sloths as a group eventually. Coral bean as a group. Red mulberry. Lion's mane jellyfish. Would a pygmy marmoset make a good pet? Okay. Star of Bethlehem. Dragon pipe cactus. Gimpy gimpy. Deadly nightshade. Or at least a history of deadly nightshade. Scallops as a group. Cryptid camouflage. Strangler fig. Sea lamprey. Black walnuts. Southern tamadua as a good pet. So those are some of the videos that are forecasted for the channel in the upcoming days and weeks. I do need... I think I'm going to put in Slow Loris. Finn, yeah. Although some of those characters, like from the later movies, like Ray and them, honestly, I could go either way on them. And then I really honestly thought that the Han Solo's son was going to turn around and be a good guy. And that didn't happen. I like Kylo. A lot of people don't like those movies. To each their own. Not crazy about them. Does he? Maybe I didn't see the last one. I don't know. I always felt bad for him, though, in a way. I feel like I don't know how I feel. I've seen all of them only because my church decided that it'd be a good activity for people to do for all of the guys. And so we did it. And it was free for me, so why not go see it? There's been so much happen in my life between now and then. one of my friends, and I was going to compliment her on it. Well, yeah, it's not a bad thing to do. It's an activity. We didn't do it because there were religious themes. It was just we did it as sort of a social. And so we went and saw it. It was playing in theaters, and we had a bunch of Star Wars fans in the ward at the church at the time, so we went. I am going to be doing a nature center activity at my church in, I think, March or May. Excited for that. One of the girls found out that I have a collection. One of the kids from my class found out that I have a big nature collection, and she's like, I want to see it. So what am I supposed to do? Not let her see it? So she's going to see it. At least part of it. As much as I can take in. How is it I have 11 votes on polls and only 6 likes? I don't get it. Oh, I don't know. I think I would do a clone. I think maybe, I don't know, a child, like a clone of Anakin. Who wasn't given the chance to either go to the dark side or to be in the light, and is forced to sort of be raised up in the dark side. But without all of the issues that Anakin had to go through. Or an orphan who was taken in by a family, or a child whose parents maybe were rebellion. No. A child who somehow is an orphan because of actions of the rebellion, and is now a teenager who's being trained in the dark side. I like that idea better. And and she is as promising as Anakin was. Yeah, that sounds good. Well, sure. The problem with clones are, theoretically, no, not theory, is if I take a sample of your DNA to make a clone, right now, your cells are whatever age you are. So even if I were to generate a clone of you, the cells are still going to be whatever age you are. So in my case, my cells are 54 years old. Probably shouldn't have said that. But they're old. They're older. No, because your clone still has to be aged. I'm not sure how it works, to be honest. But a lot of times they will create this embryonic thing. I don't know if you ever watch Star Wars. The stormtroopers, I think, were clones, at least to start with. And then they raised the kids in a facility until they were older. I think Boba Fett. Nature Fan, are you still here? Was Boba Fett a clone? I know Jango was. But was Boba? Okay. And they were raised up. They were clones, but they were raised up as kids. I don't pretend to understand cloning. Okay. Thank you for the assist. I knew it was something like that. I don't know. My favorite character is Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan and C-3PO. Oh, and the Ewoks. And maybe Chewie. Leave it to me to like the... Leave it to me to like the Wookiees. Anyway, guys, we are down to the last few minutes of live. Oh yeah, Yoda's cool. I know why I like Count Dooku or Dooku. I know why I like him. I like him because of the guy that plays him. I'm not gonna lie. I had an original Princess Leia doll. Sorry, action figure. The little ones. And my younger brother and me were arguing over her. And we popped her head off. I was so sad and so mad. Nope. Didn't have any of that. I had... I still have some Star Wars stuff. Of course, they're not... They're open and... Who knows exactly where they're at. As luck would have it, there's one right there. I think it's a Hoth. I think it's a Hoth pilot from Empire Strikes Back. And I thought, oh yeah. And from Return of the Jedi. He took Han's place on the Or no. Maybe it was The Empire Strikes Back. No? Return of the Jedi. He was on the Millennium Falcon. I think I even have a Gamorrean guard. And some Ewoks running around somewhere. But I even had the Hoth playset somewhere. But they don't have weapons. I do have a Storm action figure that's never been opened. That is like bigger than usual. It might be worth something, but yeah. That's a story for another day. I wonder. Nope. Anyway, guys, we are almost to the end of live. Thank you for coming in. I appreciate all of you. Again, if you're on the eastern side of the United States, please be safe. And as I always say, I will see you in the next one. Be good, everybody. Bye.